Next week, maybe next month, it's going to happen. Oh, disclosure is going to take place. Oh, can't wait, you know. They expect the president to get up in front of an audience at a press conference and say, hey guys, have I got news for you? And the president's going to stand there, you know, under cameras, and everybody's waiting with the little pads and so writing down. And he's going to tell the big story. Hey guys, it ain't going to happen. Believe me, it ain't going to happen because the story is too damn big. It is not merely that we're being visited from other planets. It isn't merely that we're being visited from guys from other star systems. Nor is it just the fact that people are dropping in from other galaxies. That's a given, and that's true, and you know, all of the above. When I retired in '76, the Army at the time had just learned that, my God, we're being visited by guys who are popping through portals from other dimensions. Now, if you think that didn't blow their minds, and this was in '76, and that's when I retired from the Army. But that's not the story. They're not visitors. They've been here from the very beginning.
Are you human? My body is.
So I hate the word alien. Many of them have been on this planet before we were here. So the term alien doesn't apply. They've been here from the very beginning. And they're here in mass. There are facilities on this planet where they are all over the damn place. I mean, under Mount Hayes in Alaska, there's a major extraterrestrial facility. Under 𝗟𝗏 Mountain in Puerto Rico, there's a major extraterrestrial facility. There's one in a mountain in the Pyrenees, its name passes me for a moment here, where there's a major extraterrestrial facility, and there's another facility underground in Australia, near a place called Pine Gap. Pine Gap happens to be probably the largest national security facility that we have on the planet. And isn't that a coincidence that right next to Pine Gap, underground, is an alien activity facility? I mean, these guys are all over the damn place. Now, I will tell you, and I'll tell you honestly and bluntly, I have never attended a conference in 20 years. And I've spoken all over the United States. I've spoken all over the planet. Well, I haven't spoken in the Soviet Union, Russia, or China. But damn near everywhere else. I have never been in an audience like this where there wasn't at least one or two extraterrestrial intelligence sitting in the audience. And guys, I will tell you that I've had the opportunity where they've come up and introduced themselves to me after I've made a presentation. If you think that isn't a jarring experience. But you may look around, but you know, I've had wives looking at their husbands, you know, like, always wondered about this SOB. Ingo Swann gave me some advice on it. Joe McMoneagle, another friend who gave me some advice on it. You develop the ability to recognize them, to sense them. And when they look at you in the face and they look into your eyes, then you know. I spoke at a conference 2 years ago in Laughlin. And after I had finished, I was wandering around with a cup of coffee in my hand, and this good-looking gentleman and a lady came over to me, shook my hand, and said, you know, we appreciate your presentation, and we wanted to thank you for what you had to say, and blah, blah, blah. And we're standing there being friendly and chatting for a few minutes. And I had this gut thing that Ingo was talking about. And I couldn't, you know, it wasn't indigestion or anything. I've developed this sense. I think that's why I've been kept alive. I looked at him and I said, you're not from here, are you? And then I felt a little embarrassed and I said, you know, I mean not from New York or Miami, you know, San Francisco. You guys are not from here, are you? And she chuckled. And I looked at her and she looked at me and she says, no, we're not from here. And I says, would you mind telling me where you're from? And she says, if I were to tell you where we're from, you wouldn't understand. And I didn't take it badly. I mean, I didn't take it as an insult. I really kind of understood what she meant. And that's when I began to conclude that she and he were probably from another dimension. And they do come. They come through portals. They can create a portal just like that and come through from other dimensions. And they were a delightful couple. If you looked at them, they did like a husband-wife, you know. He was about my height, and she was a little shorter. And she was fair, blonde hair, blue eyes. He had brown hair and green eyes. You could sit in a restaurant or in an airplane, and you would never know. That's why I tell you, in this audience, there is at least one or two here. And I will tell you something else. They're not interested in what the speakers have to say. They're interested in how the audience responds to what the speakers have to say. They're monitoring us so closely. They're watching us so closely because they are family and they have a concern about the fact that we are undergoing a transition.